He went from sweeping floors and collecting food stamps to signing a $19 billion contract on the door of the welfare office that used to feed him. This is John Koum, the founder of WhatsApp. And the craziest part? The company that paid him that fortune was the same one that rejected him for a job. To understand why WhatsApp became the biggest messaging app in the world, you have to understand where John came from. He was born in a village outside of Kiev, Ukraine, during the height of the Soviet Union. Life was hard. His school didn't even have an indoor bathroom. But the real struggle wasn't just poverty, it was privacy. In communist Ukraine, you didn't talk openly on the phone. You assumed the government was listening. You assumed your neighbors were spies. This childhood paranoia about privacy would eventually become the DNA of an empire. At 16, John and his mother immigrated to the United States. They landed in Mountain View, California, thanks to a government subsidy. They were given a tiny 2-bedroom apartment. They had almost nothing. John swept floors at a grocery store to help pay the bills. His mother babysat. When she was diagnosed with cancer, they survived entirely on her disability allowance. But John had a secret obsession. He was fascinated by computers, but he couldn't afford training. So he went to a used bookstore, bought networking manuals, learned the code, and then, because he was so broke, he would return the books to get his money back. This street education got him a job at Yahoo. He spent 9 years there as an infrastructure engineer. It was a good job. It paid the bills. But he hated it. He hated the ads. He hated the data tracking. He remembered how it felt in the Soviet Union to be watched, and he saw the internet turning into a giant surveillance machine. In 2007, John and his friend Brian Acton quit Yahoo. They took a year off to travel South America and play ultimate frisbee. But eventually, the money ran out. They needed jobs. So, in 2009, they applied to the rising star of Silicon Valley, Facebook. They were both rejected. Let that sink in. Facebook looked at these two guys and said no thanks. If they had hired them, Facebook would have saved themselves $19 billion. But that rejection was the spark. Unemployed and bored, John bought an iPhone. He looked at the App Store and saw a gold mine. He started coding an app. But here is the part of the story most people don't know. WhatsApp wasn't originally for messaging. It was literally just what's up. It showed your status so your friends knew if you were busy. And it was a disaster.
The app crashed constantly. It drained battery. Nobody used it except a handful of John's Russian friends. John was humiliated. He was ready to delete the code and go look for another corporate job. He told Brian, "I'm going to quit." And this is the moment that changed history. Brian looked at him and said, "You'd be an idiot to quit now. Give it a few more months." Then luck struck. Apple launched push notifications. Now when a user changed their status, it pinged their friends instantly. John noticed something strange. His users started using the statuses to talk to each other. Someone would change their status to, "Hey, are you around?" And another would reply via status, "Yeah, I'm at the bar." The light bulb went off. He wasn't building a status app. He was building a messaging app. But unlike SMS, it was free. Unlike BlackBerry Messenger, it worked on any phone. And unlike everyone else, there were no ads. John taped a note to his desk that read, "No ads, no games, no gimmicks." He built the anti-Facebook. No data collection, just pure connection. By 2014, WhatsApp had 450 million active users. It was growing faster than Facebook, Instagram, and Skype combined. Mark Zuckerberg realized he couldn't beat them. He had to buy them. He invited John to his house for dinner. The deal was struck. The price? $19 billion. It was the largest acquisition of a venture-backed company in history. But here is how the story ends. When it came time to sign the final contract, John Koum didn't want to do it in a shiny glass boardroom at Facebook HQ. He requested they drive to a specific building in Mountain View, the North County Social Services Office. This was the building where, just a few years earlier, he and his mother had stood in line for food stamps. He walked up to the building, pinned the contract against the door, and signed his name. From sweeping floors and collecting welfare to becoming a billionaire, signing the deal on the door of the welfare office. John Koum's story is a reminder that your current circumstances do not define your future. And sometimes getting rejected is the best thing that can ever happen to you. Thanks for watching. If you want more stories about the people who built our world, hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.